Why you learn to doubt your own feelings. Some people learned too early not to trust their own feelings. Not because they were dramatic. Not because they were wrong. But because their emotional inner experiences were quietly questioned, again and again. Nothing obvious may come to mind. No single moment you can point to. Just a sense that certainty inside yourself never quite felt safe. In this video, we're going to look at how that happens, and why self-doubt can still show up even when you're trying to trust and be honest with yourself. Most people don't grow up being told directly that their feelings and reactions are wrong. It's usually subtler than that. A reaction that's ignored, an emotion that's minimized, a moment where your emotional reactions are corrected instead of understood. Over time, something shifts. You stop asking, "What do I feel?" and start asking, "What's acceptable to feel?" Children adapt in ways that keep connection intact. If your feelings create confusion, discomfort, or emotional distance, you don't stop feeling. You start adjusting. You learn which emotions are easier to have, which reactions get met with less resistance, which parts of you make the room feel calmer. Over time, that adjustment becomes automatic. Not because it's false, but because staying connected once mattered more than staying clear. You might learn to explain yourself carefully, to doubt your first reaction, to look outward for confirmation before trusting your own thoughts on any given situation. Not because you lack insight, but because trusting yourself during childhood came with consequences. Here's the part most people miss. Self-doubt didn't appear randomly. It was learned. And what's learned while being a child can feel automatic in adulthood, even when the original environment is long gone. As an adult, this can feel like living slightly outside yourself. Second-guessing your reactions. Replaying conversations to see if you were too sensitive. Wondering if your discomfort is justified or imagined. You will notice certain feelings in your body at first, like a tightening when you try to speak honestly, a hesitation before naming what you feel, a reflex to ask for reassurance instead of trusting your own signal. This isn't a flaw. It's what happens when a child doesn't receive clear emotional feedback, when feelings are met with inconsistency, correction, or silence. Without clarity, self-trust doesn't disappear. It never fully gets built. When your feelings are repeatedly corrected or dismissed, inner certainty doesn't disappear. It learns to stay silent. In the next video, we'll look at how this pattern often turns outward, why so many people who doubt themselves become deeply attuned to other people's emotions. Not because they're weak, but because paying attention once felt like the safest way to stay connected. This was the eye behind the curtain. If something clicked, sit with it. This channel doesn't diagnose, it observes.